Hi guys, I'm okay talking to friends about it and stuff, but like when it's like me and a camera now, I'm just like, my mind's blank. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. Like, I genuinely don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna read the caption of my Instagram because I feel like this is exactly how I feel. It's with a broken heart that I let you guys know my beautiful mama passed away this Wednesday after a 6-year battle with cancer. She passed with those she loved by her side, and she's free from her pain now. I want to thank you guys so much for all of the love you showed her over the years. It means the absolute world. Mama, thank you for just being you. I couldn't have asked for a better mum and best friend. You supported me no matter what and showed me nothing but love. The purest soul to exist. It hurt so much that our time was cut short, but I promise I'm gonna make you so proud. Us versus the world always. So yeah, that happened. This is a video I never wanted to make. I do want to make this video, but in a way I do want to make this video, and like, you guys need to know, obviously, because imagine if I didn't say anything and you're always like, can you film this video with your mom? I'm like, not really. I might come across a little bit weird in this video. I deal with things like in a weird way. I just like, I get emotional and then I just go emotionless, and then I'm emotional and then it just like, I feel like I've been living a dream for the past like week of my life. Like, if I don't sit and think about it, I can forget about it like that. Like, I just feel so detached like 90% of the time. Like, it doesn't even feel real that it happened. And online I did want to tell you guys you could be along for the journey, but I just never was really good at talking about it. So I guess I'm just gonna tell you guys like the actual story now and just like let it all out in one video. I remember I was 14, I got home from school and I was home alone. And I was vibing out in front of the TV, had the music channel on, I was dancing in my living room. I saw my mum and Stuart come home and I didn't know where they'd been. And they got out the car and they looked so sad, and then they turned to each other and hugged each other, and it was a really like caring hug. And in my head I was like, my grandma's died. My mum comes through the door, sits me down, and she goes, I went to the doctor, I had a lump on my neck. They analysed it, they think I might have cancer. And she was crying, and then I was just crying so much when I found out. I just remember like hugging her for ages, just like crying. And then I went up to my room and I just cried. Oh fuck. I knew what it meant and I knew what was coming. I just like didn't want it to like be real. After I'd processed it for the next few years, I just didn't think about it. Like, I refused to think about it. They brought out this new treatment when my mum had it, and all she had to do was take a tablet. That was all she did for like 3 years, and she stayed the exact same. Like, her hair was the same, she stayed the same, like her eyelashes got a little bit curly. Like, that was the only side effect of them. And I was like, damn, like, this isn't gonna be as bad as I think. And then when I'm older, they're gonna have a new treatment that will just cure it. They'll have found a cure by then. Like, technology's advancing so quick. Sorry, my camera died. But we knew that one day these tablets would stop working and she'd have to go on to something else. And then when I was like 16, the tablet stopped working and it spread to her kidney a little bit. I just remember when she went onto chemo, that was when like I saw the biggest change ever. And like, chemo just seemed to be the thing that like stripped her of everything. I came home after she started that and she just like had changed so much. Like, her cheeks had swollen from the steroids, her hair had gotten really thin and it was really short, she'd lost a lot of weight, she couldn't move around as well. And then the chemo stopped working and she went on to something else. And then 3 months ago, came out of Starbucks, my mum called me and she was like, are you sat down? I was like, I'm sat down, what is it? She's like, the treatment stopped working. I remember on the phone I just like saw her like about to cry when she said that, like, the treatment's like, there's nothing left. So then I was crying as well and she was like, it's okay, we'll get through it. She was like, it's gonna be okay. And this was about 3 months ago. And then 2 weeks later she got really ill. She got pneumonia, and this was after I'd moved into the wave house and stuff, and she was in the hospital. And my stepdad called me and he was telling me about it, and he just said to me, it's just like, prepare yourself for the worst. Like, I feel like this could be like getting towards the end. She was in hospital for like 2 weeks and I wanted to come home and see her, but I couldn't because of corona. You can't have any visitors in the hospitals or anything like that. The duration she was in hospital, she was getting worse and worse, and she was waiting to have this surgery done that would have like helped her breathing, because that was something she was really struggling with was breathing. But in the end she wasn't allowed to have the surgery because she was too weak to have any surgery. Like, it just wasn't worth it. And my stepdad said to me on the phone, they've given me 2 options at the hospital. She can either go to the hospice or live out her last few weeks at home in the living room, like in a hospital bed. And I was like, oh. And anyway, she chose to go home and like be in the living room in a hospital bed. And I got to the house and I had no idea what to expect the whole way that I was there. And when I got to the door, like, I saw my mom in the living room and I was like, damn, like, she was just looked at her in this bed and I was just like, fuck, like, damn. She couldn't move, like, she had no muscle in her legs because she'd been bedridden for so long that she couldn't stand up or move at all. Like, her breathing was so loud, in and out, unrecognizable, really. And then the worst week of my entire life, the most traumatic week of my life took place, and at the end of that week was when she passed. Me and Stuart, my stepdad, it was just us two that like live in the house, so we were just kind of taking care of her 24/7. But like, it was scary. It wasn't just like she was just like peacefully chilling there in her bed and then like just passed one night. Like, every single day there was like 4 or 5 incidences, like probably like 20, 30 if we're counting the like small little ones. When I was there at night, because I'd be like downstairs until like 4 o'clock in the morning, I normally put my earphones in, but I just couldn't put my earphones in because I could hear her breathing, and I wanted to hear her breathing so that I could tell if it got a bit inconsistent or a bit weird, because her breathing was very abnormal, and she was so scared to go to sleep in case she didn't wake up that she'd like be twitching and stuff, and she'd like then start like sleep talking and sleepwalking, because I feel like she was that sleep deprived. She'd keep making herself wake up because she'd be scared that she was dying. I like went over to her because I thought she'd woken up, and I was like, Mama, I was like, you okay? And she goes, I need to get up now. I was like, no, what do you mean that you can't get up? I was like, you have to stay laid down, like you can't get up. I don't think your legs are strong enough. She was like, no, Millie, I need to get up, I need to get ready. And I was like, get ready for what? She was like, I need to get ready for work. And she starts moving her legs to like trying to get up. And I remember I just like grabbed her hands and I was like, Mama, look at me. I was like, do you trust me? And she was like, even though she was sleepwalking, it was so pure. And she was like, I said to her, I was like, Mama, do you trust me? And she looks at me and she was like, yeah. I was like, don't move. I was like, please don't try and get up. I was like, you can't. And she was like, why not? I was like, because your legs aren't strong enough. You're not strong enough. She went, oh. And she just looked so sad, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she just went back to sleep. It's just so weird how the roles like reverse so quick. Growing up, it was just always me and my mom. Like, I'm an only child. My dad left when I was like 4, and then a few years later my mum met my stepdad Stuart, who is the most amazing guy, the most incredible guy. That whole time it was just me and my mum, like our whole lives, and she was like my hero growing up, and it was always me going to her for advice and her like helping me out and caring for me. And the way that the roles just flipped towards the end, and it was me like telling my mama that she's not strong enough to walk, and she's just like just relying on me. Cancer is a bitch. The things that it did to my mum are actually disgusting. Like, the shit that she went through in that week because of that, like, it's actually disgusting. Like, no one should have to go through that, especially not my mum. Like, she genuinely was like the purest soul, and she was so kind and just so loving. But she wasn't boring. Like, she'd make inappropriate jokes all the time, and she'd just be silly and stupid, and she loved me even though I was an absolute weirdo. Like, we'd go on holidays and I'd get her like period pads, or like her like wee pads that are like for like women that are a bit older, because my mom was quite old. She had me when she was like 44, and I was getting her period pads and like throwing them and like sticking them to the ceiling and stuff. And then my mom was like a little bit drunk on holiday, and then she was just like, what are you doing? And then I remember that night we were on holiday, I just realized how easy she was gonna be to play with because she was a bit drunk, and I was like 11, bearing in mind. And then I get my phone out and pretend to call Childline on my mom, and I'm like, Childline, my mom's really drunk and I'm on holiday and I feel really unsafe. And she thought I was actually on the phone with them, and she was like laughing at first, and she was like, Millie, put the phone down. She's like, put the phone down. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you think I'm actually calling Childline? We always just went on a holiday, us two. We went to so many random places. I said this to her like in the last few days, but I was just like, I'm sorry that every time we went on a holiday I was on my phone all the time. Like, I was like 14, and we'd literally go out for a drink, just me and my mum, and I'd just be sat there on my phone with my earphones in like this on my phone 24/7. I remember she said to me, she was like, Millie, can you socialise a little bit? And I was like, Mum, I'm texting my friends. And then she just literally, she was like, okay then, fair enough. Like, she didn't take it off me or anything. She was literally like, as long as I was happy and having fun. She just literally lived her whole life for me. So even though I look back on that final week and it was so awful to see her like that, I'm glad that I was there to like care for her, because like she saw me into the world. So I'm gonna make sure I see her out. But yeah, on the last night, like, I'm not gonna go into too many details. I always do that, like, I'm telling a story and I like go into every single little detail. But she started coughing at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then normally it'd clear up a little bit, but it was just this rattle every time she breathed in and out. It was like a really, really loud rattle. We were sat by her side holding her hands because it seemed like she was getting close to dying at that point. We were like, in case she just dies like any second, like, we want to be there. All of her energy was going into her breathing and it seemed exhausting. All she needed to do was cough, but she didn't have the energy to cough. Like, it got to a point where she'd like too weak to do anything, too weak to swallow, too weak to cough. That rattle, like, I googled it that night and the name of it was death rattle, and I saw that and I was like, shit, like, we're really getting close now. But she said it wasn't painful. That's the weird thing. Like, I remember saying, I was like, are you in pain? And she was like, and she was still breathing like it was the biggest pain in the world, but she was like, no. She just shook her head and I was like, is it just annoying breathing? And she was like, but my mum refused to let go. She just wouldn't let go, because the thing is, like, about it all, like, the sad thing is that she just didn't want to go. Like, she had so much to live for and so much she wanted to see. Sorry, my camera died. She said she was gonna fight until the end, and she really did. Like, she's just genuinely like the strongest person that I know, and like how she dealt with the whole thing as well. And then at like 11:15, I don't want to go into details about how, because it's just awful, but we could tell it was really, really near the end. And that whole night I didn't leave her side, neither did Stuart really. We spoke about memories with her. I thanked her for everything that she's done for me and just being like the best mom I could have ever asked for. And she really did support me no matter what. And I made a promise with her that night that I was gonna make her so proud. And even though she was so weak, she got that energy to squeeze my hand. And I was like, confirmed. I was there the moment that she passed as well, holding her hand and then refusing to let go for like an hour. It wasn't even scary because it was just still her. And even though it hurts so much that she's gone, and it hurts so much that she's not gonna see me get married or have kids, and I know that really upset her as well. Even though physically she's not gonna be here to see all that, I so strongly believe that she's in a higher dimension now that she would have called heaven. I feel like her energy is just behind me right now, and she's here, like, behind me. I feel like we're a team now, and I believe it so strongly that it almost takes away a lot of my sadness, because I do genuinely think that she's still here. Something that she got me last Christmas. Angels from above watch over those who we love. And I remember in the final few days I was speaking to her, and I told her to not be scared of death because she's still gonna be here watching over me. And she said, she was like, I will still be here watching over you. If she would have had any choice of what to do in that higher dimension, she'll be behind me, guiding me and just watching everything that I do. Hopefully not everything though, that's a little bit uncomfortable. She is free from her pain now. No one deserves to live how she did in her final week. I genuinely just want to thank her for so much, because she genuinely was the most unreal mom I could have ever asked for. Raised me in such an amazing, incredible way with nothing but love. Even going through all of her drawers and stuff after she passed, like, she had so many keepsakes of when I was younger. One time I was in loads of trouble and I wrote her out a note. I'll insert a picture on the screen here, because I used to forget everything in school. Like, I'd leave behind so much stuff, and I left my mum's bag once and I left it in school, and she was so mad at me, and I felt really upset that she was so mad at me, because I hated being in an argument with my mum, and I couldn't go to bed like arguing with her in case something happened in the night. I always remember that being a thing. But she felt the same way as well. It was just whoever had come to the other person first, and I gave it to her, and I remember she came into my room and just gave me a big hug like before the end of the night. But she kept that letter and I forgot that it had happened. I just found it in her drawer and I was like, oh. But this is to anyone else that's also lost a family member, or like a parent, especially a parent. I mean, everyone has their own beliefs, but I really strongly believe that they are still here and they're still behind us and they're guiding us and putting us on the right path. And it's almost a stronger connection that way, because you're with them 24/7. And even though it might not be physical, you might not be able to see or touch it, it doesn't mean that it's not real. Like, you can't see or feel Wi-Fi. I still feel her love, and it gives me comfort knowing that such a huge part of her is still inside me, and that is how she's not gone. Our connection was too strong to not see her again. But yeah, that's my life update. Bye bye. I will see you soon.